Join the charge. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Heck, we're even on TikTok. There's something for everyone here. We're excited to engage with you. We hope you'll join us moving forward.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Stock Talk. You've got Austin and Andrew here. It's a nice day here in Vancouver. Austin, how are you feeling?
Doing pretty good, Andrew. Recharged after a nice long weekend and ready to tackle another big week here.
Beautiful. Well, let's just jump in, talk about being recharged. Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin launches William Shatner into space.
It's not his first time, from my understanding.
No, if there's someone who knows space, he's the one.
It's William Shatner. He's the guy. Big
publicity stunt, but it's fun. I mean, it's a cute little thing to do for the company, and it's not really. I guess it's not really news. I mean, it's just a fun thing that's in the market right now. But I'm surprised he went. So it's just a fun thing that's out there.
Yeah, it's a cool story. You know, if I was in Blue Origin's marketing team, this is exactly the kind of idea you'd want to see, right? You grab Captain Kirk, you throw him in your space shuttle, you launch him into the stratosphere. It's a great story. It's gonna be covered by every media outlet across the world. Even guys like us are joking about it. We're not big Jeff Bezos guys, but no. It's a great marketing ploy, really cool idea, and a nice. I'm sure it's for Mr. Shatner as well.
Oh shit, we've lost. Austin, I think we've lost your sound here, but yeah, it's definitely. Hello.
Did I get back?
No.
We working?
There we go. There we go.
Perfect.
No,
no, I was just saying to boldly go where no man has gone before. So,
yes. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's neat. I mean, to me though, it loses some charm because we've been into space, big deal. I guess what the difference is that this is private companies that are able to hit the stratosphere. I guess it's interesting where it might go in 10 or 15 years. Who knows? But there's not a lot of. I'm not really blown away by anything with that type of stuff. What's more interesting, and this is really, and this is what I talk about the most of on phone calls with people is, we're in October, very choppy markets. There's a lot out there that's disconcerting. And a lot of people are asking, even today, if we pull up this article from CNBC, a $200 billion fund manager says, be ready to go to cash. So this is... Yeah. Not, it's a general kind of statement that they're saying, and they're talking more for institutionals. They're not telling retail clients they should do that, but it's just wise for people to understand that October, November, I would expect to be quite choppy. And if you look at, a lot of the things out there in the market with a lot of the change, what's happening in the world, August alone in the U.S. because of federal mandates, 4.3 million people quit their job. Which is absolutely incredible. These are people that had jobs, that have families, and said, no, we won't be working now then. Never have we seen that type of thing ever happen. It's truly shocking, especially considering there's a massive work shortage right now, that people aren't going back to work anyway. A lot of them being subsidized to not go back to work. And we're seeing the fallout of all that with supply chain issues. We see that here, obviously, in Vancouver, where you see the boats out there. The cost of shipping is through the roof, and in part because there's no one, here they'll work, but there's lots of other ports that aren't going to work. So you've got a big amount of issues out there, and if you can't feed the consumption for all the infrastructure, for all the things that need to be done, and also you're going to mandate that about half your workforce can't work, well, you've really set up an interesting situation. So that coupled with the energy crisis that's now Europe, but will hit over here. We have a gas issue right now through the roof. That you want this no use of fossil fuels to try to meet these standards, and regardless of whether or not you believe in that statement and that belief or not, you would better have a solution in place that is going to satisfy the energy needs and consumptions that are currently just to be met, which no one has.
Yeah.
And, Europe is now facing that with, once again, them saying, well, the problem is we don't have enough truckers and we have a shortage of people being able to supply gas around. And you say, you've had record migration every year under the auspice of, we need people to work these jobs. Well, they're all there and none of them want to work. So, if you're not kind of waking up to what's happening and with the story, you're not going to. There's lots of trouble in the market. There's lots of things to be concerned. And listen, that's what we've been saying a long time. For me, I'm not interested in going to cash. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to own the Canadian dollar or the US dollar. We don't know how those are going to fare. We've been saying right from the get-go, you want to own precious metals, and you can. It's just as liquid as cash. That would be a lot smarter to me. And also, that if you were going to do that. But for me, I'm not looking at anything over the course of 1 or 2 months to change my position to trade on this opportunity. If you think it's an opportunity, it's just a cognizant that, okay, listen, a lot of the stocks I own might drop. Okay, great. If nothing in them has fundamentally changed, if there is no news which is negative, if they're still hitting milestones and they're cheaper, well, maybe that's a time to buy. These are questions one has to ask themselves more than anything else.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the only reason for me to even want to keep cash in a trading portfolio in any sort of way is because when you get an opportunity like that, when you've got a sound company who's taken a little bit of a dip, maybe people are just trading off some news, maybe some big money's taking some cash off the table, you never know. But there's always an opportunity there. That's the only reason for me to have any cash really sitting in my trading account to begin with is, hey, if I see an opportunity over here, maybe I can get this 40 cents cheaper than I normally would. Let's go ahead and grab some.
Yeah. And also I have to bear in mind that these portfolio managers, they're limited to what they can buy. They're not going to be buying mining companies. They can't buy commodity companies. It's not in their purview. They have to buy a lot of this tech stuff. And to me, it'd be like, yeah, if you've made some money in some tech stuff, you should be selling off a lot of it and you should be thinking where to put it in more defensively. No one should. I would say that might be wise for someone like myself if you have the same beliefs that I have, that some of these PE ratios are blown out of proportion. Also, we know that there is rampant inflation, as much as they want to pretend like there isn't. And once again, you don't need to scare people with it, but it's there. And they've cut back on the money printing for now, but they'll turn up the juice again. So they turn it off a bit, and there's a bit of a crisis right now. People are a little shocked, but they've told us time and time again that they're not going to stop that. Until whatever time we have this reset and we get the final product of what they've been working on over the last couple of years to roll out. And and when I say gold as well, not to exclude, people should be looking at the crypto side as well. I mean that we do believe there is a market there, that it has a value. I certainly don't think it has more than any commodity or precious metal, but it certainly has a value. And obviously, moving forward, there's going to be some sort of government digital currency, whether that's pegged to an Ethereum. I don't know, but
it's about understanding how the space works and the setup and the flow of the crypto space. It's important to understand and get comfortable using that kind of currency because, like you mentioned, our own government, Canada, the U.S. Federal Reserve, they've all come out and said, we will do a federal-based coin at some point. So getting an understanding of how that works and how the entire system is set up is important for people to wrap their heads around.
Yeah. So let's just do a little touch-up on a couple of the stocks that we always like and we're following and we're tracking. I'll lead off with Desert Mountain. I think it's going to be quiet there for a little while. I know they're working hard. And there is no updates just right now. And I kind of tell people I'm not expecting any updates in the next month or so. If we get something, okay, great surprise. That hasn't changed my mind in any way, shape, or form about the company because once again, it's pulled back. I think it's attractive at this price. So there's not much to say. Everyone knows I'm a big believer in it. So for me, it's a long-term buy. For me to find a company that has that, has done the work they've done, has hit the milestones that they've hit, and has the team they have and the success they've had, is very difficult. They're really on target, and it's just a matter of time and some patience with them.
Yeah, it is. It's still a great story. It's still a great team. These things just take time, as we know. And that's the important thing to remember about Desert Mountain. Two quick ones that I just wanted to highlight. They don't really have any new news lately, although for one of them, I'll start with Silverhammer, formerly Lakewood Resources, was doing a lot of work on their past producing mine in Idaho. They've expanded their land package, so they've had some really exciting news roll out. They haven't had anything new since then, but just important to highlight, in the last few months, their stock is up almost 80%. That's important to pay attention to. And Trigon Metals as well. In the last 3 months, up nearly 50%. So very encouraging numbers for both of those companies moving forward. The market's clearly reflecting the size of the land package that they both have, the actual samples and drilling analytics that both those companies have under them as well. Really encouraging news and trending in the right direction for both of them.
Yeah, good. And I wanted to throw out there too, Guanajuato Silver. James Anderson's been on the show a number of times, and they're pulling back here. They're at 47 cents today, and they poured silver, I think, just the other day. So when you're talking about short term, they're producing now. So this is what people want to see. They want to see that you're moving the project along, and how fast can we get to production, because then we're talking revenue. So that's another one that was a short term or a near term production story. And these are the ones that we like as well. I mean, there's two different kind of ways to look at things. It's either the greenfield, brownfield kind of exploration story of curve, where we're excited, we're drilling, we're finding more information, and maybe we've hit something. Then there's the whole story of, okay, we've got something, we're now going to mine it, and we've got cash flow. So it's nice to have a good mix of those two in these metals that we desperately need in the regions that we need, because we know that shipping and whatnot are going to be an issue. Having stuff close to home to help build America back better is going to be critical. I mean, it's going to be absolutely necessary when they turn on the gears and start going back to work. So I love Trigon. I like these stories. These are great. Trigon as well. They've been really hitting it hard, and hopefully we'll have Jed on from Trigon, and as well as Morgan. We'll have him on soon as well from Silverhammer, and get a little catch up on what's happening. But these are ones where, I feel quite strong about these, especially when we look down the road for the future. Setting up good, strong positions in these, people, I think, will feel quite secure.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And another thing to highlight with Guanajuato Silver as well is they really do lead the charge on the ESG front. James and his team have a great vision for how they want to do things. They work extremely closely with the local population there. They love them down in the town. They hire locals. It's a great story. It's a great team. I'm really excited for them to be ramping up production as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because, we talk about ESG, and there's a lot of bad in ESG, especially the politics type of part, but there's so much good. And Guanajuato Silver and James Anderson is an example of how you can do it correctly, how you do it properly. And the people there love them. The mayor loves the fact that he named the company of over the name of the town. And you're so well received. I think 95% of the workforce is from Guanajuato. It's a mining town, a historical mining town, or resounding area. And that's an example of how you can go to a place and really make the people feel like they're part of the vision. And guess what? When you do that and they feel included, and they're also going back to work, being able to feed their families, hey, they're going to be more favorable towards you. Go figure.
Who would have thought it's that simple?
Yeah.
But it really is, and I just love the way they kind of led the charge on this push. It's really been exciting to see.
Yes, and then of course we always talk about Globex. We long term, we're excited about this. They've been doing so much. I think the stock pulled back a bit today, but once again, day-to-day movements, I'm not really concerned about. We have a big long-term hopes and dreams for this one. QYOU, we think, will be a bit quiet for a couple months. They've done so much, and they're generating revenue. Who knows what's going to be happening in the next month or two? It's going to be. I'm optimistic for sure. There's nothing negative on the horizon, but I don't expect anything. So I guess what I'm getting at is trying to narrow down the companies where we think we're going to hear some news, and other ones where it just might be quiet for a while. And I think we keep in mind is it's up to you and your advisor and your portfolio manager or your broker or whoever it is to say, do I want to trade and take some money off the table, sit in cash or commodity, and buy back at a cheaper price if you think things are going to pull back. Because even some of these great companies will pull back as well as some of the giant ones get hammered. It's more than likely it'll happen. To me, I don't want to play that too much. Like, I like my positions. If they pull back over a month or so, it's not the end of the world for me, because my vision is a lot longer. But if your time frame is much shorter, then you need to be looking at that and talking to whoever or whatever system you're using. Rely on that very heavily, because it's going to be bumpy for a while, and that's just how the markets are going to be. But we also know that there's lots happening over here. There's a lot of new companies that are coming to the market soon that we're very excited about. As well, there's also a new look to the website. I don't know if you want to give a hint on that.
Yeah, it's a very slick design. We've kept it under wraps. We're hoping to have it rolled out by the end of the week. But yeah, very exciting to be making some changes on that front. And, I was actually going to tie this in kind of nicely here, as you mentioned, with you expect things to be quiet on some fronts and busy on some other fronts. For anyone who's run a company and been in business, that's just how it rolls. You can't keep having things ramping up 12 months straight. If you do, you've had a hell of a year. But under normal circumstances, there's going to be months where you're in the building phase and the setting up. And QYOU is a great example of that, where they've done a ton over the last 6-7 months. And now they're kind of in this planning development stage. We know they're working on a new channel. We know they're updating revenue guidance. We know they're putting plans together for how they're going to attack 2022. And that's just the way things go when you're running a company of any size. There's these periods of growth, and there's these periods of planning and setting up for those big growth stages. Yeah.
And I mean, one of the ones QYOU people will pull out is that there's a lot of shares out. That's a name one. And if you go onto forums, you'll see people, that's their big concern. Great. You've hit some great revenue targets, but was it 300 million shares out? So we need to clean that up. So I don't know if anything's coming down the pipeline on that front or not. I remember Kurt saying something in one of our first interviews that he's very well aware of that. So who knows what's going to happen, but I know that people are very happy with the revenue, and they're chunking along. They're doing very well. So let's see what comes out in the next few months. Once again, we're very optimistic with it. Of course, India. I mean, what a target market to be involved in. It's just, it is massive. It's just massive. So talk about infrastructure and the need for critical metals and whatnot as they keep on developing. The amount that they're going to require is enormous too. So I think today was just kind of letting people know that, it's choppy. It's fall. It's October. And people, the biggest question I have is should I be in the markets? It's not something I can ever answer. But can things pull back? Yeah. So if there's ones that you like, start thinking about building a position, but with the full thought that, don't go all in on anything. You always pair into things. So you're always having some cash on hand, and you're able to take advantage of dips into companies that you feel very strongly about, and build up positions rather than just trading a stock here and there. That's the way that we certainly envision the way we like to look at things.
Yeah, and it gives you a stronger base and a stronger foundation. And the last thing I'll kind of mention in regards to all of it, but we'll tie it to QYOU just because they're the example we've used. This is a team that's been there before. They've done this sort of thing before. They understand how this works. It's like you said, Kurt alluded to the fact that they understand the shares outstanding. They are going to come up with a solution, a way to combat that. These guys have done this before. They know what they're doing. So again, when you're able to have confidence in a team to deliver, then it becomes a lot easier to sit here and go, oh yeah, but they're going to figure that out. Don't worry.
Yes, because that's what you're investing in at the end of the day, especially these types of companies, is the competency and the ability of management to deliver. And it's the same thing why we love Desert Mountain Energy. So I'm glad you brought that up. It highlights a big portion of our market model mindset, is understanding that having that faith in the ability of the board and of the management team to execute on their blueprint and their plan is critical. They've done it before. That is a good indication they'll do it again, that they've met and kept their word. All these things are critical moving forward, especially in times of chaos. How are we supposed to know what it should be like to build a processing plant for helium? I have no idea, but I'm very confident in the team that they have to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the important thing for people to remember.
Good. All right, perfect. Let's get at it. Midweek, let's go. Let's see what's happening. It's going to be an interesting week, and we wish you all the best.
Yep, absolutely. Take care, guys, and we'll look forward to chatting to you on Friday.